So here we want to talk about skills-focused problem automation and then contextual problem automation. But before we do that, we'll just talk a little bit about current AI doctrine, the assumptions that we make as we use AI in our platform, specifically toward content generation. So first of all, AI is now capable of generating pretty high-quality learning materials. However, we do still need human involvement when it comes to first formatting a structure to guide the AI, and we talked about that with regard to our Fractal curriculum. But also, oftentimes we have to come in and edit the outcome for quality assurance. How good your data structures are is going to depend on how much editing you have to do. Even though we still have to supply some human involvement, LLMs are improving over time, actually rapidly, and so we're seeing already reductions in the human involvement even over the past year. Now, as I was saying before about improved data structures, we can use custom models and careful data formatting to improve the reliability and performance of LLMs, and so that also reduces human involvement. And even when we use custom machine learning models for like classification and prediction, this is data formatting, right? This is a way to more carefully format your data so you do get better performance out of the systems. This number 6 is important because what we're doing in GEC is we're trying to build the underlying platform, the LMS, in a way that it's like a car that you can change out the engine. So you could have a really luxury car with a 4-cylinder engine that would be analogous to the language models. And then as the AI models improve, they'd be like changing your 4-cylinder engine out into a 8-cylinder or to 12-cylinder. As they get more powerful, the underlying systems, the chassis, the drivetrain, the interior, all of the inner workings of the car stay the same, and that's where most of your value proposition is. If you have a $50,000 car and you have to get a new engine, you may have to pay $10,000 for the engine, right? But the bulk of the value lies in the LMS, in the underlying systems. So that's really our approach. Now, I do want to talk about linear problem automation. Linear problems are one after the other. I have a depiction down here. Yeah, right here. So linear standalone, this is an engine in GEC where you just do problem after problem after problem, one after the other. There's no adaptivity, there is no, there's nothing fancy going on here. And these are good for math and, grammar, and for skills-focused testing. But for contextual learning, we have to have more interesting systems. So just to show you that on the live platform here, I'm going to go back to the library. I'm going to go down to a test where I know that we've used the linear engines. For example, the Aiken test is a Japanese language test. And if we go into one of these environments here, and what we can do is come in here to problem automation, and if we want drag to position and multiple choice and matching and prompted speech, we select those are the problem types that we want. This can be an image question and a text answer. This can be a text question and an audio answer, and once you set those up, then we go to the GEC IDE here, and we choose problem automation, and we define our multiple choice prompts, we define our drag to position, we define our matching problems and whatever we need, and then in the step editor down here, all we have to do is say actually how many problems. So create 200 problems, right? Or create 20 problems. And when we save it and we go back and we run that in the builder, then it just automatically generates the problems with all of the problems themselves and any images that are associated. And the audio, it just does everything. So you go have a coffee, and that's how that works. With regard to contextual lessons, the Fractal lessons, we have another system in here, which you'll see later, so I'm not going to dig deeply into it. But inside the full Fractal lesson, this is a multi-prompt environment where you have prompt number 1. It has a step description, it has a step editor, and it has a response explorer, and that feeds a child that also has a step description, step editor, and response explorer. We daisy chain these together, so like number 1 is the parent, number 2 is the child. And when we run these, they run in daisy chain, they run concurrently together. in a sequence. And if you look at some of the titles to these, first we have to create the body of the lesson, fractal lesson. Then we have to normalize the organization and the labels because the JSON has to be right. Then we have to create the introduction summary. Then we have to create the conclusion summary. Then we have to create the main points, the thesis, and the general statements. Then we have to generate the discussion questions, and we have to generate distractors for the multiple choice. So this is a highly advanced multi-prompt environment to do highly sophisticated AI services. And whereas, going back to here again, whereas generating linear problems is easy, the contextual problems on the fractal curriculum is quite a complex process.